In this video, we are going to learn Chinese verbs for cooking. Before we start the video, please go check out Skritter.com. It's one of the most powerful tools for Japanese and Chinese characters.
That's right. This video is part of our Chinese cooking series, so if you haven't checked out the videos, do go check them out. In this video, we're going to focus specifically on Chinese verbs for cooking. Let's start with the 4 quadrants that we're going to use to divide the verbs.
油、水、酱、火.
So anything that involves oil will be in the 油 section. Anything that has to do with boiling or with water will go in the 水 section. Anything that has to do with fire or baking will go in the 火 section. And finally, anything that has a lot of sauce involved, and we would consider this a technique of Chinese cooking, would go in the 酱 category. Let's start with my favorite quadrant, the oil quadrant, 油. Let's start with the 3 most common verbs in this section.
炸
To deep fry,
煎
to pan fry,
炒
to stir fry. So 炸煎炒. It's interesting to note the more fire you need, the more it will be illustrated in the character. So let's compare deep fry and pan fry. There's a big fire in 炸, and 煎 to pan fry, you can see that there's smaller fires at the bottom, so it's more of a low heat. So that's usually a great way to see how much heat you need when you're cooking certain Chinese dishes based on the verb. Now let's move on to the water quadrant, the 水 quadrant. There are 2 very common verbs that you'll encounter in this section.
第一个是煮
The first one is to boil, or actually this verb can be used more generally to mean cooking. So 我今天晚上要煮饭. So it means to cook, or in another way, to boil.
另外一个是蒸
To steam, I would say one of the signature ways of cooking Chinese cuisine. And again, for these 2 verbs, to 蒸 and 煮, how strong is the fire? You can see a tiny simmer with the apparatus on top of the fire. So 蒸 clearly looks like you're steaming something.
Now to my favorite section is 酱
酱. And the key word I would say in this section is definitely 卤, and that is to put items, whether it's vegetables or meats, in a pot of very thick soy sauce stew, and that is what we call 卤. And actually a very famous dish you will hear with this verb is 卤味.
或者是茶叶蛋也是用卤的
Another great verb in this section, and this used to be my all-time favorite, was 烩饭, or 羊肉烩饭, 牛肉烩饭, whatever, 烩饭. And why would we put 烩in this 酱 section?
它是比较有勾芡的酱汁的吧
Okay, so 烩 is usually a thick sauce that has a strong flavor in it. Now it can sometimes be clear. Most often it is a darker sauce with soy sauce or some kind of sauce. But the key thing is that it's a thick sauce that is poured over a dish.
And finally, fire
火. The key verb in this section is 烤, and that is to bake. And this can be used in the Western sense, and this also can be used in the Chinese cooking sense.
烤肉
北京烤鸭
对烤肉或者是那个烤蛋糕也是这个
都是烤. 2 more that you might also hear in this section is 焗 and 熏. First, let's talk about 熏, and that is to smoke. So if you're eating a smoked salmon, that would be 烟熏鲑鱼.
最后一个是焗
The classical Chinese definition of this verb is to fry, usually a meat, a very kind of heavily salted meat. It's then wrapped inside a cloth or a container and buried either in the ground or in a pot. However, this verb has been borrowed to mean when something is baked under the oven, usually with heavy amounts of cheese. So if you're going to a restaurant and you order a 焗烤, that usually means something with grilled cheese on top. But the actual verb means to wrap something in a container and to bury it in the ground and to be cooked slowly.
所以如果你是一个起司爱好者，你一定要会这个字，你一定要知道焗
烤. Be sure to go check out Skritter.com for more of these cooking verbs.
如果你喜欢我们的影片，欢迎给我们一个赞，或是订阅我们的频道。
Go subscribe and we'll see you next time. 再见。
拜拜。